if you have fans on Bandcamp who have ordered your record, you have a lot of their details. In fact, you actually have their personal address. So if you really want to go to their house, knock on the door and say thank you, I don't know if that's legal, but let me know how it goes. I'd be very curious. Hello and welcome to a new episode of Other Record Labels. I'm your host, Scott Orr, where we talk about the art and culture of running an independent record label. And today we're talking about fans. Before we get into it, I want to just remind you that all of the resources that I've put together over the past year, there's been a lot in the past couple of months. Some of the checklists and some of our multiple revenue streams thing, our bio writing thing we put together, our business plan recently that was super popular. All of the tools for record labels who at any size, at any stage, are all consolidated in our toolkit. And you can get that for free at our website by going to otherrecordlabels.com/toolkit, or just go to otherrecordlabels.com. You'll find it right there. And the link is in the description of this episode. Today, I want to talk about how to surprise your fans. And I want to, we can maybe use a synonym for surprise, and we can maybe say over deliver. I don't know if that's like one word or if that's a term, over deliver. But anyway, I love the term over deliver in the business world, because you know how there's that kind of like that old saying of like customer satisfaction and about how like we want to do more than just having our customers be satisfied. Well, that's kind of like what over deliver means. And we're going to talk about, I actually have 10 ways that we can surprise and delight and over deliver to our fans. Very practical things that I'm going to include in this episode. So get a pen and paper, because there's some things that you can do that are free. There's things that you can do that are super easy to do. Some are a little bit more involved, but there's ways that we can over deliver to our fans. I love over delivering because it's basically like setting an expectation. Our fans, or our customers, if you will, have an expectation when they interact with us or when they make a purchase or buy a record or support one of our artists. They have this expectation, and it is just, it might just be if they order a vinyl, that vinyl arrives and that they can listen to it. And there's so many, and that's really our base, right? Where we're starting from. But there are so many opportunities where we can really pleasantly surprise our supporters and our fans by over delivering. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I had this thing, recently, I bought this guitar pedal online, and I would watch these. I did it really instantly. I found it on Instagram in an ad, and then I watched like 2 YouTube videos, and I was like, I need to have this. Great little reverb pedal. Not little, actually, very big. Anyway, I ordered this thing, and I was just excited to have it come. When it arrived in a very nice looking box with like a nice kind of like soft cover when you open the box. And the first thing that came was like 2 really cool stickers, and not like stickers just about their brand, although one was that, but like another one that was just about like music in general, like just a kind of a generic music sticker that was really cool. And I love having stickers because I put them on like the back of my guitars or on different things. I just kind of like having stickers. So for me, that was like an immediate like over deliver this guitar pedal. The other cool thing was they included like a little jumper cable, like a little patch cable they totally didn't need to do that. And they didn't advertise. That was the cool thing, is they didn't advertise you're going to get stickers, you're going to get a jumper cable. They also had this like print off card that had some presets, and it was like, if you want to achieve this sound, try these knob situations. It was really cool. Again, all these things, even just the packaging and the box, and it came in like 2 days. These were all like over delivers, because what they were selling was they're just selling the guitar pedal. And I'm actually like thinking about this guitar pedal right now, and I want to finish this episode so I can go and play with this guitar pedal. It sounds so lush. But anyway, that was like the expectation, right? The expectation was this great guitar pedal. And then all of a sudden, I'm surprised by these stickers and really simple things, and this card of presets, and then this little jumper cable that maybe if they buy them in bulk costs them like 50 cents or $1. The guitar pedal is a few $100s. So it's not a huge thing, but a massive over deliver for me. Really, really made the experience, it heightened the experience. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. Before I get into the 10 ways that we can surprise and delight our fans, and I'm going to go through them pretty quickly and give you some examples. There are cases in this episode where I I'm talking about super fans, I'm talking about casual fans, or maybe members in your community. And for some of you, you may know who that is. If your artists might know who their super fans are. You as a record label, if you've been around for a while, you might know. You might see a name that comes through on most orders. A good way to find out about who your fans are, who your super fans are, is you could check your analytics. You can look through some of the comments on a lot of your posts, or who likes your posts over and over. There are some ways on Instagram and Facebook to find out who is most, who of your followers are most involved or engaged. I'm not sure. Definitely with your Bandcamp orders, you can download all of your Bandcamp orders and you can search by customer, and you can search by order number. You can sort by order number. And so it's pretty easy to see. And then it shows you their address and it shows you their email address. And so it's pretty easy to see who has supported your label the most. And another thing I do sometimes, and the artists on your label can do this, is actually just go to Instagram and search the hashtag of your artist, and you might pull up some fans who have bought the vinyl and have taken a picture of this has happened to me, that they've taken a picture of them listening to the record on a Saturday morning, and they've hashtagged my album title, or they have hashtagged my name or the record label. And so that's a good way you can find them, and you can add that to a little bit of a list. Okay, let's dive in. 10 ways that we can surprise and delight our fans. Number 1 is learn their birthday. This is a huge thing. Okay, when you get to a certain age in life where your parents, you don't live with your parents, and like there isn't people who know your birthday. Maybe your mom calls you, but like you don't have like a school birthday planned, or they don't read your birthday over the announcements like they did in my school. And so all of a sudden you hit this certain time where like people don't know it's your birthday. If there's like a onboarding or ingestion process with your new fans, like I don't know if they're signing up for, like, say they're signing up for your newsletter on your website, or they're signing up for a free download. If there's a place where you can ask for their birthday and store that somewhere and somehow use that in an efficient, sustainable way that doesn't overwhelm you. Maybe it's just for your super fans, but if there's a way that you can find to reach out to people on their birthday, that's a huge deal. There's some brands who do this. I'm not talking about, doing it in an inauthentic or a robotic way, but I think there's a really great way that we can learn some of the birthdays of our special fans and maybe send them a tweet publicly. And there's just something great. Is people love when somebody remembers their birthday or knows their birthday, because unless you're that type of person who has no shame in like telling everybody that it's your birthday on social media, good for you. But if you're not that, then it can be kind of sad when like nobody other than your mom maybe texts you or something and nobody knows your birthday. So learn your fans' birthday at any process. I mean, if you are creating like this download form where they sign up for your mailing list in exchange for downloading a free compilation or something, if there's a way you can ask for their name, their email, and their birthday, and then organize that some way. I don't know, print off a calendar of your top 50 friends or fans or something, and then you can send them a personal email. Okay, number 2 is have the artist reach out to the fan. And so some of these things, out of these 10 ideas, some of them are something that you might want to reserve for super fans, and then some of them are things that you could do for lots of different fans, or a random group of fans who bought a record, or you could do for every single fan if it's something that you can easily scale. But let's say you have somebody who, let's say you release a new record and you released a pre-order, and pre-orders don't normally sell as well as on release day because not everybody plans ahead. But let's say you sell 20 pre-orders of a new record, which is great, on opening week that you announce the pre-order. Well, you obviously have their emails, you have their phone numbers. So this is something you could send 20 emails to your artist who's sitting around doing nothing, waiting for their album to come out, and say, hey, here's 20 people who pre-ordered your record. Just thought you would want to know, this is their names, where they're from. And if you want to send them a thank you message, you can do that. And I think that's a huge thing, especially when the fan orders from the label and then they hear separately from the artist, maybe through social media or maybe through email. So number 2 is have the artist reach out to the fan. Number 3 is to send a thank you email. So we're kind of on this same thread, right? Because when I talked about at the beginning is, if you have fans on Bandcamp who have ordered your record, then you have a lot of their contacts. Same with Shopify or Limited Run. You have a lot of their details. In fact, you actually have their personal address. So if you really want to go to their house, knock on the door and say thank you, I don't know if that's legal, but let me know how it goes. I'd be very curious. At the very least, you can send them an email. See, this happened to me about back in 2015, I think it was. We released this record that was a record I had worked on. I had been recording and mixing with an old high school friend of mine. And it was something we had worked on for on and off for like maybe 8 or 9 years. And finally, we just got around to finishing this record and we released it. And all of a sudden, and it was just this kind of like this simple acoustic record, really, really beautiful, but really understated. And all of a sudden it just took off. Like it took off with not just like our built-in fan base. And this artist he was a total hermit, wasn't touring at all. And all of a sudden it just blew up and Bandcamp featured it. It ended up getting distributed and pressed to vinyl. And, but in the early couple of weeks, there were maybe 20 or 30 people who bought it out of nowhere. And it was in the first week, actually, a bunch of people bought it. And so because they bought it on Bandcamp, they bought the digital download. This was just before it was the precipice of streaming. So most people were still buying MP3s. And so we had like 20 or 30 or more email addresses of these people. And I just was so moved that these random strangers had picked up this record. And so I emailed them all. I copied every email into my email client. It wasn't a mail, it wasn't a blast. It was an individual email. It was like, "Hey, Steve, thanks for supporting this new record. Really blown away by everyone's support. I really appreciate it." I didn't give them a coupon. I didn't give them, wasn't selling them anything. I was just blown away by the support and I just had to say thank you. And so, some people, like maybe 25% of people responded and said, "Nice to meet you," and talk about the album a little bit more. And then maybe more than half didn't respond at all. Maybe just thought it was creepy. But I think that was it was a fun experiment for me. And there was really no objective. It just felt like the right thing to do. So number 3 is to send a thank you email if you can. And again, you can do it totally random. You can like just reach a bunch of emails from your spreadsheet and send some emails. Or again, you can sort your Bandcamp customers by how much they've spent and send the top 5 or top 10 a special email. Number 4 is to include bonus items in the shipment. We've talked about this before, and I know that a lot of the labels who follow us and watch this show and have been on this show do this all the time, and this is great. And I love it. And as a music fan, my expectations now have kind of gone up, and I'm not leaving a lot of room for the labels I support to over deliver, because when I get a record or a tape in the mail and it just comes in a box with nothing else, like no note, no sticker, no candies, I'm like a little bit disappointed, even though I shouldn't be. Like all I ordered was the record, but sometimes I do get a little disappointed when it's just a record. And if I'm ordering from like Amazon or a major label, I usually just get the record. And so I think it's a great opportunity. And I know we have labels in this community who send candies, who send something that's kind of like native and proprietary to their geographic location, which is really special. I've got handwritten notes from record labels. This is a huge opportunity. I think it's also really imperative to maybe make a CD compilation or a digital compilation on a download card and include that. Maybe even make a little mini magazine that talks about some of your other releases and other artists, or talks about your label, and include that in. That's just something a little bit bonus, a nice little treat that you could get. Stickers are always nice. Buttons are always nice. When I buy a cassette from a label and I open it up and out comes like 5 stickers and 2 pins and a little note, that's huge. I mean, that's so huge. That goes a long way, because I'm expecting the tape, but I'm not expecting all these things. So include bonus items in the shipment, like the analogy I gave you earlier with the guitar pedal. Number 5 is to give Superfans early access. So this is a really cool thing that you can do. And again, it's imperative that you know who your Superfans are. And I think a lot of labels who've been around for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, 10 years, you know who those fans are. And you should have some sort of customer management software or spreadsheet where you can keep track of who these fans are. And so it's not a bad idea to send them. It doesn't have to be to everyone, but to send a digital release to, a month early and just say, "Please don't leak this. And thank you for your support. I wanted to give you early access to one of our new releases." That could really, what's great about this is that a lot of the things I'm talking about are ways to bless and to be generous to our fans and our supporters. But there's an ulterior motive, right? You remember that episode of Friends where Phoebe says you can't do anything generous or charitable without it coming back to you in a positive way. And so really there is some reciprocity that's earned and some loyalty that is earned when we do this. And so I'm not, I'm suggesting we be generous and that we over deliver because it's a great thing to do. It's the right thing to do. It's fun. It makes us feel good. It makes them feel good. It's great. But there's also like another motive, and that is that they become super fans. Some of our casual fans become active fans. Our active fans become super fans, and this is a really cool thing. And it can have a significant impact on the bottom line of our record label over the years. Is that we all of a sudden, and I think I've heard from labels on this show who have like 100 or 200 super fans, and imagine pressing 500 records and knowing that 200 of them are spoken for, guaranteeing that at least, regardless if the album's good or bad or whatever, 200 of those records are going to be sold because they have diehard fans. And that's an incredible place to be, but it doesn't happen naturally. It doesn't happen immediately. It happens when we nurture and we bless our fans over and over, and we treat them with respect. Let's go back to the very beginning for a sec before I continue on. And I just want to remind you, fans are critical to what we're doing, right? We often forget this. We often think about ourselves. We think about our branding. We think about our competition. We think about other labels out there who are doing cool things. We think about some of our strategies. We think about our artists, and we think about the music, and we think of all of these things that we're doing that's very important. However, we often forget about the customer, the end customer, the music fan, the music listener, someone who we are. And it's good to remember them and to remember why we're doing this, which is to advocate for these fans and to provide these fans with things that they value, which is music and art, creativity. Okay. So number 5 was give superfans early access. Number 6 is mail them something. Everything we do is digital these days. Everything is on Spotify or Bandcamp or YouTube or TikTok or social media. And it's really easy and it's really cheap to do that. It's free to upload a record to Bandcamp. It's free to post something on Instagram. But it costs a little bit of money to mail something. And America has a really good mailing system, and you can send postcards and you can send thank you letters to people. And again, going back, you have their addresses. So from a lot of your super fans who have ordered from you physical product or merchandise or records. And so you can easily send them a thank you letter. So that could be at Christmas when you're not selling anything. You just say, thanks for your support this year. It could be on their birthday. If you have their birthdays, you could send them a postcard announcing a new release that's coming up. We did that before. It cost us maybe $50 to $100. Maybe it was $50 in printing and $50 in stamps. And we sent out a postcard advertising a new record to our top 50 customers, supporters. And that was fun. It was a fun experience. It was a lot of work. It was hard to kind of quantify it, but it was fun, and I'd do it again for sure. Number 7 is host a special event. This could be a live event in your town. This could be a Zoom event. And at the very least, host like a Zoom get together and provide the link on your social media and on your Facebook page, or send it to your email list and say, hey, Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to get together and we're just going to hang out and talk about the label and talk about the artists. And it's like a big AMA, or it's just a big get together. Or you could host some sort of free little party where you have some snacks or some bands playing, and just invite everyone for free to come hang out, or make it exclusive. Like find your top 10 fans in the local region and say, we're having like an exclusive party at a restaurant, we're catering it or something like that. And you're invited. And just as a way to say thank you. This is not like a sales pitch. We're not trying to sell them something. It's just a way to say thank you. Number 8 is give them a unique discount code. So I've done this quite a bit on Bandcamp, because on Bandcamp you can make discount codes. You can also make them on Shopify. I'm probably on limited run. And what you can do is you can say, here is for this entire year, you can make them, like if their name's Steve, you could say Steve 15. And so if you use that code, you get 15% off any purchase on Bandcamp. It can be a lifetime coupon code, or it could be just something that for the month or for a year. And that can be a really nice thing for them to hang on to. And again, you could pick your top 5 fans, you could pick your top fan. What if there's like somebody in your group who spends hundreds and hundreds of dollars on your label a year and they buy everything you release? Well, give them a 10% off code or a 20% off code. Do all of these things to them. That could really go a long way. So give them a unique discount code. Number 9, we're getting to the end. This is fun. Number 9 is, and we're getting a little deeper here, and maybe this can be with your superfans, but number 9 is to ask their advice and consult with them. Maybe put together a survey on Google Forms and send it to your top customers or send it to all of your customers and get some feedback and say, what was your favorite release this year? What was your favorite release we've ever done? What's your favorite genre? Poll your fans and say, how do you listen to music? What's your preferred format? We're releasing a lot of vinyl. Do you like vinyl? What's your price point for a record? How many records do you buy a year? What are your other favorite labels? What can we do better? You could poll everybody on your social media. Google Forms is a great way to conduct a super simple survey, and it's free, and you can send a link on social media, include it in a stories or send it in a newsletter or post it on your Facebook group. It can be a really cool thing. You can also get a little bit more specific and nuanced and only send it to, 20 or 30 of your top fans and supporters and ask things that are a little bit more direct and get a little bit more nuanced feedback that way. So that's a cool way that you can engage with them, and they'll feel really great about that. If you send it to the masses or if you send it to a small group, either way, if you offer a suggestion or if they offer a suggestion and you actually implement that, that can create this huge bond between you and them forever, knowing, hey, I'm a fan and I actually contributed to this record label in a certain way, and they took my advice and it's changed how they do things, and that creates a huge, very, very significant bond. So consider asking them for advice. Number 10, the final one, is to give them a job or give them responsibility. I don't necessarily mean like hire them and pay them $100,000 a year. That'd be great. You could hire me if you want. Give them some sort of responsibility. It's very similar to the previous suggestion, which is to ask their advice. And so you could almost take that a step further. Do you remember street teams? Do you remember when that was a thing? That was a big thing in like the 90s, I think, early 2000s even, where you would sign up to be on a street team with an artist or a band, and it was through their label or through their publicist or their management or whatever. I never did this, but I knew people who did, and I was researching it one time. It just seemed a little bit out of my comfort zone, but basically you apply to become a street team member, and you would get, please send me an email or comment if you're on anyone's street team. I'd love to know that. But anyway, and I don't know if they still do it. They really should. You would sign up and you would become a street team member, and they would send you a package of flyers and posters and then maybe like some free merch. Maybe you get an album ahead of time. I don't know, maybe a week ahead of time. But you get like some CDs, some like rare stuff, maybe a free t-shirt or something, maybe a backstage pass or tickets to the show in your town. It wasn't a ton of stuff. And then you'd be responsible to go to a record store on release day and hand out flyers to advertise their album or to advertise their upcoming tour or to plaster the city with posters to advertise like a new show or a new album. So that was a street team. So there might be a way to kind of take that model or that mentality and to engage with some of your super fans and say, hey, do you want to get involved? Like, we can give you all of our entire catalog or a bunch of free stuff if you tell other people about our label or maybe go to your local record store. Here's a cool thing. What if you don't have physical distribution, you could send a couple records to some diehard fans and ask them to go to their local record store and advocate for your label and to say, hey, could you maybe sell these on consignment and act as like a little mini distributor? And in return, they get like credit or they get free records. I don't know the legalities or the complications of this, but it might be a cool way to connect with and to engage a little bit more with your super fans to make them street team members. Okay, let's go back over these really quick. 10 ways we can surprise and delight our fans. 10 ways that we can over deliver. Learn their birthday. That's such a special thing. Number 2, have the artist reach out to the fan. Send a thank you email. Number 3. Number 4, include bonus items in the shipment. I know you guys do that all the time. That's great. Number 5, give superfans early access. Number 6, mail them something in real life. Number 7, host a special event, either in person or over Zoom. Number 8, give them a unique discount code. Number 9, ask for their advice and consult with them. And number 10, give them a job or some sort of responsibility. I hope you found this helpful. I hope that there's one little nugget in there that you can use or contort or change to make work for you so that you can over deliver and you can be a generous record label and you can show your supporters and your fans that you appreciate them and that without them you wouldn't exist, and that your artists and the art that you represent wouldn't exist without them. So I hope you found this helpful. Go to otherrecordlabels.com where I will put this list along with all of our other resources on otherrecordlabels.com. You can sort by topic, and so any topic that helps independent record labels is all listed there on the main page. That's where I'll put this information, as well as our free toolkit has all of our resources in one easy zip file. You can get that at otherrecordlabels.com/toolkit.